We are like people who have been handed a coin and told that the head's side is holy, while the tail's side is evil. Are you exhausted from the constant pressure to stay positive? Do you feel like a failure whenever sadness or anxiety creeps in? Most self-help advice tells you to chase the light and run from the shadow. But Alan Watts offers a different kind of first aid. He reveals that life is a polarity, a secret partnership between opposites. Just as a magnet cannot exist with only a North Pole, your life cannot exist with only success and no failure. In this deep dive exploration of the book on the taboo against knowing who you are, we dismantle the war of the one-sided coin. It's time to stop fighting half of existence. It's time to find the piece of the whole circle. We live in a state of constant, exhausting warfare against ourselves. We spend our days chasing the light and running from the shadow, convinced that if we could just reach a place where there is only good and never bad, only success and never failure, we would finally be at peace. We treat life like a problem to be solved by cutting it in half. Now let us explore the profound wisdom that lies not in adding, but in letting go. In the ordinary world of the modern mind, we suffer from a chronic division. We are taught from our earliest days to categorize the universe into rigid, competing pairs. We believe that life is a battleground where light must eventually conquer darkness, where the I must win against the other, and where pleasure must be harvested while pain is discarded. This mindset creates a profound psychological friction, a feeling of being pulled apart by horses running in opposite directions. We are always for something and against something else. And in this eternal choosing, we lose the stillness of the whole. This is what Alan Watts identified as the war of the one-sided coin. We are like people who have been handed a coin and told that the head's side is valuable, holy, and desirable, while the tail's side is worthless, evil, and dangerous. So we spend our entire lives trying to find a way to saw the coin in half so that we can keep the heads and throw the tails away. But the moment you saw a coin in half, you don't have a one-sided coin. You have two pieces of metal that have lost their value entirely. Or, more accurately, you have two thinner coins, each still possessing its own heads and tails. This obsession with winning the positive side of life is the root of our most persistent anxieties. We feel that we must be happy, and the more we chase happiness, the more we are haunted by the shadow of its absence. We feel we must be secure, and the more we build walls for security, the more we realize how vulnerable we are to the things outside those walls. We have forgotten the fundamental law of polarity, that you cannot have up without down, left without right, or being without non-being. They are not enemies, they are secret partners. Our cultural conditioning, however, insists on the struggle. We are raised in a tradition that views the world as a conflict between spirit and matter, mind and body, creator and creature. This dualistic view forces us to live in a state of metaphysical schizophrenia. We feel that we are a me, the subject, looking out at a world, the object, that is not us. Because we feel separate, we feel threatened. We think the universe is a machine made of dead matter, and we are tiny, fragile sparks of life trying to survive in it. This leads to the exhaustion of thinking too much. When you view the world as a series of obstacles to be overcome, your mind becomes a frantic radar, constantly scanning for threats and opportunities. You become a people pleaser to secure approval. You become a workaholic to secure status. You become a control freak to secure the future. But the more you try to control the external world, the more you realize that the internal thinker is just as chaotic. You are trying to use a turbulent stream to wash away mud, only to find that the more you scrub, the murkier the water becomes. Consider the metaphor of the magnet. If you take a bar magnet, you have a North Pole and a South Pole. They are clearly different. They have different functions and different energies. You might prefer the North Pole. You might think the North Pole is good and the South Pole is bad. But if you take a pair of pliers and snap the magnet in the middle to get rid of the South Pole, what happens? Instantly, at the point of the break, a new South Pole and a new North Pole appear. The difference is the very thing that makes the magnet a magnet. Without the tension between the two, there is no magnetic field. There is no power. There is no thing at all. We are exactly like that magnet. Our existence is a field of tension between life and death, joy and sorrow, known and unknown. But we refuse to accept the tension. We want the music without the silence between the notes. We want the light without the dark space that allows it to be seen. We are like people who want to buy things but never want to sell, or like a breath that only wants to inhale but never wants to exhale. If you only inhaled, you would burst. To live, you must accept the negative act of letting go, of emptying yourself so that you can be filled again. The modern hero is currently trapped in this ordinary world of the divided self. We feel a nagging sense of wrongness because we are trying to do something that is mathematically and spiritually impossible. We are trying to live half a life. We think that if we can just get the right job, the right partner, or the right meditation technique, we will finally eliminate the negative aspects of our experience. But the negative is the background that makes the positive visible. You cannot see white ink on a white wall. You need the blackness of the chalkboard for the white chalk to mean anything. This realization is the first step of our journey. We must stop seeing the negative as an error of the universe. We must stop seeing our fear, our sadness, and our eventual death as mistakes that need to be fixed. They are not bugs in the system. They are the system's core features. The anxiety we feel is simply the friction of our resistance to this truth. We are like a person who is trying to walk forward while refusing to let their back foot leave the ground. The tension is not caused by the world. It is caused by our grip. We feel the call to adventure when we finally become bored with our own struggle. We realize that our self-help books and our goal setting and our positive affirmations are just more ways of sawing the coin in half. They are sophisticated forms of denial. We begin to crave a truth that is bigger than our preferences, a truth that includes the whole circle, not just the arc we like. The taboo we are breaking is the taboo against knowing that you are the whole process. You are not just the nice person you show the world. You are also the rascal you hide in the basement. You are not just the success you put on your resume. You are also the failure you fear in the night. You are not just the organism inside the skin. You are also the environment outside the skin. To know this is to stop being a fragment and to start being a presence. As we move forward, we must prepare to meet the mentor, the logic of polarity. We must look at the other and see our own reflection. We must look at the enemy and see our best friend. We must look at the end and see the beginning. This journey requires a radical honesty, a willingness to admit that your no is what gives your yes its power. We are standing at the edge of the fortress, looking out into the wilderness of the indivisible whole. The gate is open. The only thing keeping us inside is the habit of our own division. We have been taught that if we let go of our struggle, the world will fall apart. But what if, by letting go, the world finally comes together? To enter the second stage of our journey is to step into the lab of the universe, where we must dismantle the most fundamental hallucination of the human mind, the belief that the inside of your skin is a different world from the outside. This is the trial of the boundary. We have lived our lives as if we were a fortress under siege. But our mentor, the voice of Alan Watts, invites us to look closely at the walls of that fortress. When you look closely enough, you find that the wall is not what separates you from the world. It is what joins you to it. The struggle we feel, the trial of our daily existence, arises because we are victims of a specific kind of mental focus. Watts called this selective attention. It is the ability of the human brain to narrow its field of vision to a single point, like a spotlight in a dark theater. This spotlight allows us to focus on the figure, the person, the object, the problem. But it forces the ground, the background, the context, the environment into total darkness. Because we only see the figure, we believe the figure is independent. We see the bird, but we forget the sky. We see the eye, but we forget the universe. Consider the relationship between a solid object and the space around it. We usually think of space as nothing, as a mere vacuum where things happen. But Watts invites us to realize that you cannot have a solid without space. They are as inseparable as the front and back of a sheet of paper. If you take a pair of scissors and try to cut the space away from a rock, you find that wherever you cut, new space appears. They are co-arising. In the same way, the organism, the human being, and its environment are a single, indivisible process. They are like a star in its light. You cannot have the one without the reaching out of the other. This brings us to the core analysis of the taboo. Why are we so terrified to admit this connection? Because the social game we play depends on the illusion of separation. If you realize that you and the other are one process, the game of me versus you becomes difficult to play. Society requires us to be contained units of ego so that it can hold us responsible, tax us, punish us, and reward us. We have been socialized to believe that we are vessels of consciousness rather than expressions of the field. But look at the biological reality of a transaction. Think of a businessman buying a loaf of bread from a baker. We see two people, a buyer and a seller. They look like separate entities. But can you have a buyer without a seller? Can you have a selling event if there is no buying event? Of course not. They are two names for the same transaction. Buying and selling are the heads and tails of a single movement called exchange. In the same way, self and other are two names for a single movement called life. You are not a thing that lives in a place. You are an activity of the place. You are the way the entire ecosystem is peopling at this particular location. When you walk, you are not just a body moving through space. You are the earth moving its own legs. When you breathe, the atmosphere is lunging itself into you. The trial of this journey is to move from the idea of this connection to the sensation of it. We often think that if we accept this polarity, we will lose our individuality. We fear that we will disappear into a gray soup of oneness. But Watts points out that polarity is what creates individuality. A wave on the ocean is a distinct event. It has a height, a speed, and a specific curve. It is unique, but it is only unique because of its relationship to the trough, the low part of the wave, and the deep water beneath it. If you try to keep only the crest of the wave and get rid of the trough, the wave vanishes. The high depends on the low. Your uniqueness is not a wall that shuts you off. It is a wiggle in the total field of energy. This is the secret agreement between opposites. In the game of life, black and white are not fighting to destroy each other. They are dancing together to make a world. Think of a game of chess. The white pieces are against the black pieces. There is a conflict. There is drama. But the white pieces and the black pieces are both playing the same game. If the white pieces won so completely that they removed every black piece and every black square from the board, the game would be over. There would be nothing left to do. The struggle we feel in our lives, the trials of the hero, is often the result of taking the game too seriously. We forget the agreement. We think that life must eventually defeat death. We think pleasure must eventually eliminate pain. But if you could eliminate pain entirely, you would lose the sensation of pleasure, because pleasure is simply the relief from tension. If you had a world with only light and no shadow, you would be blind, because your eyes detect things only by the way they block the light. The mentor, the philosophical guide, challenges us. Can you see the death in your life and the life in your death? Look at a mountain range. We see the peaks. We name the peaks. We celebrate the peaks. But what is a peak without a valley? A mountain is not just the high part. A mountain is the up and downness of the earth. The valley is not nothing. The valley is the space that makes the peak possible. If you were to fill in all the valleys to make the world perfectly high, you would have a flat plain. You would have no mountains at all. This realization leads to a profound aha moment, but it also triggers a massive struggle within the ego. The ego, the separate self, is a control freak. It wants to win. It wants to be the heads that never sees tails. It wants to be the peak without the valley. This is why we are so exhausted. We are trying to sustain an impossible state of being. We are like a person who is trying to keep their heart in a state of permanent contraction because they think expansion is a waste of time. But if the heart doesn't expand, it cannot beat. The trial we must endure is the trial of vulnerability. To accept polarity is to admit that you are not in total control. It is to admit that you need the other to be self. It is to admit that your existence is a fragile, beautiful vibration between being and non-being. Most of us run from this vulnerability. We flee into busyness, into controlling others, or into religious beliefs that promise an unchanging eternal. But true eternity is not living forever. Eternity is realizing that you are the ever-changing whole. Watts suggests that we are like a person who has been hypnotized into a state of anxiety. The hypnosis tells us, you are alone, you are separate, you are dying. The first aid is the counter-hypnosis. You are the world. You are the dance. You are the energy. When you start to feel this, your relationship with your enemies changes. You realize that your enemies are your best helpers. Without the resistance of the world, you would have no strength. A sail needs the wind to push against it to move the boat. A musician needs the resistance of the strings to make a sound. In the same way, the problems in your life are the troughs that allow your crest to be seen. They are the black squares that allow your white pieces to have a place to stand. This brings us to the desire for a new way of living. We start to crave a life of effortless action, Wu Wei. Imagine a life where you don't fight the negative, but you use its energy like a judo master uses the momentum of his opponent. Imagine a life where you don't fear death because you know that death is just the interval between two notes of a song. Imagine a life where you can finally be kind, not because you are trying to be a saint, but because you realize that hurting another is as stupid as your left hand trying to cut off your right hand. The hero in this part of the journey is beginning to see through the illusion of the skin-encapsulated prison. You are realizing that your nervous system is not a wall, it is a transformer. It takes the noise of the universe and turns it into music. It takes the vibrations of light and turns them into color. You are the translator of the cosmos. But for the translation to happen, must be a message coming from the outside. The self and the world are the two ends of a single telephone line. If you cut the line at either end, there is no conversation. The battle here is with the old habit of thinking. The mind wants to categorize. It wants to say, this is me, that is not me. This is good, that is bad. The mentor's job is to keep pointing back to the whole circle. Think of a clock. The hand moves around the face. We see it at 1, then 2, then 3. We see it moving forward, but the hand is always connected to the center. The movement and the stillness are two parts of the same clock. Your life is the moving hand. Your source is the center. You cannot have the movement without the stillness. As we move toward the final stage of our journey, the return, we must face the ultimate paradox. To find yourself, you must lose yourself. You must let go of the heads-only coin. You must allow yourself to be up and down, right and wrong, alive and dead. You must become the indivisible whole. The desire for this wholeness is becoming overwhelming. The fear of being a fragment is fading. We are ready to stop being a soldier in the war against the universe and start being a dancer in its symphony. We are ready to return to the world of many things while carrying the secret of the one. We return now from the laboratory of the cosmos to the familiar streets of our daily lives. The hero does not return with a magical sword to slay enemies, but with something far more powerful, the realization that there are no enemies. The victory we bring back is the peace of the whole circle. We have discovered that the tails of the coin is not a threat to the heads, but the very thing that makes the coin real. The first practical application of this philosophical first aid is the integration of the shadow. In our ordinary world, we spend a massive amount of energy trying to be perfect. We try to suppress our anger, our selfishness, and our unacceptable desires. We think that by ignoring them, they will go away. But because of polarity, the more you push the shadow away, the more power it gains. It becomes the secret partner that sabotages your life from the dark. The hero who has understood polarity stops trying to be a saint and starts being a whole human. You recognize what Watts called the irreducible rascal within you. When you admit that you have a dark side, you take the charge out of it. You no longer have to hide it. Therefore, it no longer has to explode to get your attention. You become a person with weight and texture. You find that your negative traits, when integrated, provide the friction and contrast that make your virtues meaningful. Think of a painter. If a painter only used white paint on a white canvas, there would be no art. To create a masterpiece, the painter must use the hostile black and the dark shadows. The dark colors are not bad. They are the resistance that allows the light colors to shine. When you return to your life, look at your flaws, not as mistakes to be erased, but as the shading that gives your character its depth. This leads to the end of the struggle for success. In our culture, we are obsessed with up. We want the stock market to go up forever. We want our careers to go up forever. We want our happiness to go up forever. But polarity teaches us the law of the pendulum. A pendulum cannot only swing to the right. To have the momentum to swing right, it must first swing to the left. When you understand this, you stop being terrified of the downward cycles of life. When you experience a failure or a period of sadness, you don't see it as a sign that you have lost the game. You see it as the backswing of the pendulum. You realize that the valley is preparing the energy for the next peak. This insight provides an immediate grounding calm. You stop trying to force the pendulum to stay on one side, which is an exhausting and impossible task. You learn to ride the rhythm. Now let us apply this to the most difficult polarity of all, self and other. The hero returns to social interactions with a new eye. You realize that the person you are arguing with, the person who annoys you, or the enemy you are competing against is actually your mirror. Because you cannot have a subject without an object. The other is the person who is currently defining you. They are the black that makes your white visible. Watts suggested a radical experiment. Next time you are in a conflict, stop for a second and realize that you and your opponent are two ends of a single event. You are like the two hands of a person playing the piano. The left hand and the right hand might be moving in opposite directions, but they are both playing the same song. This realization doesn't mean you stop standing up for yourself, but it means you stop hating. You can play the game of conflict with a certain playfulness and respect, knowing that the opposition is what makes the game possible. This is the practice of the middle way. It is not a compromise between two extremes, but the realization that the extremes are the same thing. It is like a Mobius strip, a piece of paper that looks like it has two sides, but if you trace your finger along it, you find it only has one. Your internal world and the external world are a Mobius strip. The action I invite you to take is a shift in language. Stop using the word but and start using the word and. Instead of saying, I want to be happy, but I am sad, try saying, I am a process that is currently experiencing happiness and sadness. Instead of, I am the pilot, but the world is chaotic, say, I am the movement and the world is the stillness. By changing your internal grammar, you stop sawing the coin in half. You allow the tails to exist. And in that allowance, the heads finally feel safe. You find that you no longer need to seek peace, because peace is the whole coin. Peace is the background that contains both the war and the truce. We conclude our journey with the image of the cosmic dance. The universe is not a machine that is trying to reach a destination. It is a dance. In a dance, you don't try to get to the end of the floor as fast as possible. The point of the dance is the dancing itself. The dance requires the high step and the low step. It requires the tension and the release. You are the dancer. The skin-encapsulated ego was just a costume you were wearing for one part of the play. The taboo was just a rule of the game to make the hide-and-seek more exciting. But now you have found yourself. You have recognized that you are the total energy that is currently waving in the form of a human being. You can return to the ordinary world and play your role. You can be a doctor, a teacher, a parent, or a clerk. But you will play the role with a divine wit. You will know that the problems of the role are just the drama of the play. You will no longer be a victim of the quote-unquote negative, because you will see it as the quote resistance that makes your positive life a beautiful, vibrating reality. The victory is the smile on your face when you realize that the other side of the coin was never your enemy. It was your foundation. You are the whole circle. You are the interdependent web. You are the one that is many. Go forth and live, not as a soldier fighting half of existence, but as a poet who embraces the whole. The light is beautiful, and the dark is profound. Together, they are you. The philosophy of the polarity of opposites teaches us that the negative aspects of life are not errors to be eliminated, but essential partners that give the positive its meaning and existence. By embracing the indivisible union of self and other, joy and sorrow, and life and death, we move from a state of chronic conflict to a state of playful, rhythmic harmony with the total process of the universe.